and I are so accustomed to our Active Directory always being there, providing login, making sure of the permissions and the rights assignments that go throughout our network. In this nugget, we're going to do something crazy. We're going to take Active Directory offline. A couple of different ways we can do that. We would do this to perform maintenance type tasks. And one that we'll look at in this nugget is to defragment the Active Directory store. This is a hands-on lab nugget, so launch the lab and follow along if you like. So I want you to get logged in to DCNUG1 and fire up a command prompt, because you and I are going to engage in let's call it the traditional way we would take Active Directory offline, and that would be to do what's called Directory Services Restore Mode, or DSRM. What we do is we go to this command prompt and we type bcd edit, and then we use the set switch and we indicate that we want to do a safe boot of this system for the purposes of DS repair. That's it. Very simple command. We can then, by the way, from here, issue a shutdown. So we'll say shutdown -T 0-R, press enter, and notice the machine is going to reboot and will be in that DSRM, or Directory Services Restore mode, when we relaunch. So we've rebooted, and here's something super fun to think about. When we go to log on to Nugget Lab, we're going to get this nasty message that, sorry, you can't log on because there are no domain controllers out there to service your request. Oh, yes. What a good idea multiple domain controllers would be, so that we could still log on while one of our systems is undergoing maintenance. In our case, we don't have that luxury, so we'll go down to Other User and we'll simply say that we want to log into DCNUG1 as the /administrator account. We'll drop in the password for the password field, and we'll log in locally to this system, which would still permit us to do the maintenance that we require on the Active Directory database. Once you get in here, like in a Windows client, you're going to be made perfectly clear that you are in a safe mode type of operation, and we know that Active Directory is offline here thanks to the command that we issued earlier. So now we beg the question, how do we get out of this Directory Services Restore mode? We won't do any maintenance in here because I'm going to show you a funner, easier way to do this. So let's head back to a command prompt, because we've got work to do as far as getting out of this mode. And the great news is it is very simple, just like it was when we put ourselves into this mode. All right, great. It finally got me to a command prompt. And what we're going to type now is simply bcd edit. And we are going to use the /, and this time we're going to say that we want to delete that value we set of safe boot. That works. Now we'll do our shutdown, and that was -T 0-R. And now we are restarting, this time with Active Directory brought back online. But thanks to Server 2012 and later, there is an easier way to go, thanks to something called restartable Active Directory services. Look at this. We can go down to the Services applet, and we can launch this applet, and we can find our Active Directory domain services, and we can right-click and stop it. Now, keep in mind, this is going to stop things like the Kerberos Key Distribution Center and the inter-site messaging and the DNS server and the DFS replication that all rely on this service, but that's fine. We're going to take these down as well to perform whatever maintenance we might need to perform. So an exam objective that we have once the Active Directory domain services are offline is to perform a defragmentation. Let's do it. So let's go to our command prompt. My search utility doesn't want to work, so let's go to our command prompt using the run command. And what we're going to do is go in and say ntds util. This is the utility that we're going to use in order to perform the defragmentation. We will activate the instance of ntds, And then we'll go ahead and indicate that we want to manipulate files. Specifically for file maintenance, we want to compact the database to the root of the C drive. So it engages in this defragmentation and creates a copy in that root that we need to then copy over to where it belongs and delete any old log files. Great. So for file maintenance, what we're going to do next is perform an integrity check on this database. So for file maintenance, we say integrity, and we make sure the integrity is just fine. Now what we'll do is quit file maintenance, and then we will quit the NTDS utility as well, and then we'll do our cleanup. So we're going to copy from the C:\root the ntds.dit file, and we're going to copy it to C:\Windows, spelling counts, \ntds, and of course the name of that file is ntds.dit. It should say, do you want to overwrite that file? Of course, yes, we do. And then we're going to do our cleanup. That's of the Windows NTDS directory, and we're going to say *.log to clean up any of those log files that are old. We'll say exit, and we have just performed our defragmentation of the database. Keep in mind that this demonstration was assuming that we were storing the Active Directory database in the default of Windows NTDS, like so many of us do. Now we better restart Active Directory domain services, and the good news is when we restart Active Directory domain services, the services that we had stopped that relied on it, like the DNS server, those have all restarted as well. So this system is back to normal, Active Directory is defragmented, and unlike the old directory services restore mode, we did not need to engage in a reboot of the system in this case. So in this action-packed hands-on lab nugget, what did we do? We discussed that there's two ways, and we demonstrated them, how we would take Active Directory offline. There's the classic Active Directory restore mode, and then there's the new and improved restartable Active Directory domain service feature. We demonstrated both, but when it came to the restartable feature, we actually went in and performed some maintenance, and that was a defragmentation of Active Directory. I hope you found this nugget informative, and I'd like to thank you for viewing.